The clock ticked past 3 a.m., the witching hour when the veil between the living and the dead is said to be thinnest. Silence hung heavy in the Amityville house, a silence so profound it seemed to have a weight of its own. A storm raged outside, mirroring the turmoil brewing within. Thunder clapped like an ominous warning, and lightning illuminated the house in brief, eerie flashes. No one could have imagined the horrors unfolding in the darkness. Shadows danced on the walls, creating a sinister ballet of fear. On that fateful night, November 13, 1974, the DeFeo family's fate was sealed in blood. The house, now a crime scene, would forever be tainted by the memory of that night. Ronald DeFeo Jr., armed with a .35 caliber rifle, moved silently from room to room. His footsteps were ghosts in the hallway, unheard by the sleeping family. His parents lay asleep, unsuspecting of the horror about to befall them. Their dreams, peaceful and serene, would be their last. His siblings, unaware of the imminent threat, slept soundly in their beds. Innocence wrapped them in a false sense of security. 6 shots rang out, each one a death knell. A family, brutally extinguished. The echoes of gunfire would haunt the house forever. DeFeo Jr. fled the scene, his mind a whirlwind of madness and evil. The night air, cold and biting, did nothing to cool the fever of his actions. He drove into Manhattan, desperately trying to outrun the gruesome reality he had created. The city lights blurred past, indifferent to his plight. His charade of innocence, claiming to have found his family slain by mobsters, crumbled under intense police questioning. The facade he had built was fragile, and the truth was relentless. The truth, ugly and chilling, spilled forth. Ronald DeFeo Jr. had slaughtered his own flesh and blood, a betrayal of the deepest kind. Ronald DeFeo Jr. had slaughtered his own flesh and blood. His face, captured in a mugshot, was a portrait of a man who had crossed the line into darkness. He was their judge, jury, and executioner. The courtroom, a place of justice, would now decide his fate. The house stood silent, a grim testament to the unspeakable acts committed within its walls. 112 Ocean Avenue became synonymous with horror. The DeFeo murders sent shockwaves through the community and beyond. The very air seemed to crackle with residual energy, a palpable sense of dread. Yet just 13 months after the massacre, a new family decided to call this house of horrors their home. George and Kathy Lutz, along with their 3 children, were aware of the history of the house. They knew of the brutal slayings. They had been told of the dark energy that clung to the property. Some might call it bravery, others sheer folly. The Lutz family, undeterred, believed they could overcome the shadows of the past. They were a family of faith, seeking a fresh start. They were woefully unprepared for the nightmare that awaited them. The Lutz family moved into 112 Ocean Avenue with a mix of excitement and trepidation. The house was spacious, charming even, with its distinctive Dutch colonial architecture. It had the potential to be the perfect family home, but something felt amiss from the moment they crossed the threshold. The air was heavy, thick with an unseen menace. A pervasive chill hung in the air despite the roaring fire in the hearth. Kathy began to experience vivid nightmares, plagued by images of the DeFeo family. The children complained of cold spots and disembodied voices whispering their names. George, initially skeptical, found himself increasingly agitated and prone to fits of rage. Unexplained odors like sulfur and decaying flesh permeated the house. The idyllic facade of their new home was crumbling, revealing the horrors that lay beneath. As days turned into weeks, the paranormal activity intensified. Footsteps echoed through the empty halls at night, doors slammed shut with impossible force. The children's toys would activate on their own, their cheerful melodies distorted into chilling dirges. One particularly disturbing incident involved the family dog. The normally docile German Shepherd refused to enter the house, whimpering and cowering at the threshold. It was as if the animal sensed something sinister lurking within. The family began to experience physical manifestations of the haunting. Kathy felt unseen hands touch her, leaving behind an icy burn. George would wake up covered in scratches, as if attacked by an unseen entity. The children's health began to deteriorate, plagued by nightmares and unexplained illnesses. Fear, cold and relentless, seeped into every corner of their lives. Section 5. The Entity in the Sewing Room. The epicenter of the paranormal activity seemed to be a small upstairs sewing room that George had converted into an office. The room had an oppressive atmosphere, heavy with a malevolent energy. It was here that George claimed to have seen a pair of glowing red eyes staring at him from the darkness. The eyes, filled with malice and hatred, seemed to pierce his very soul. Kathy, drawn to the room by an unseen force, claimed to have been levitated from her bed and violently thrown against the sewing room door. The children refused to go near the room, claiming they saw a demonic figure lurking within. The entity, whatever it was, seemed to be growing stronger, feeding off the family's terror. The Lutz family, once hopeful, were now prisoners in their own home, tormented by forces beyond their comprehension. Section 6. 28 Days of Terror. After 28 days of unrelenting horror, the Lutz family reached their breaking point. Driven to the edge of sanity, they fled the house with little more than the clothes on their backs. They left behind their belongings, their furniture, their dreams of a happy life. The nightmare of 112 Ocean Avenue had left indelible scars on their psyches. Their story, chronicled in the book, The Amityville Horror by Jay Anson, became a global sensation. People were captivated by the tale of a seemingly ordinary family terrorized by supernatural forces. The house, once a symbol of suburban tranquility, became a macabre landmark, drawing curious onlookers and paranormal enthusiasts from around the world. Section 7. Truth or a carefully woven deception. The Lutz family's story has been met with a mixture of fascination and skepticism. Their tale of supernatural occurrences in the Amityville house has captivated audiences for decades, sparking numerous books, movies, and debates. Critics point to inconsistencies in their accounts and the lack of concrete evidence to support their claims. They argue that the story has changed over time, with details being added or altered to fit the narrative. Some have accused the family of fabricating the story for financial gain. They suggest that the Lutzes saw an opportunity to profit from the public's fascination with the paranormal. Others believe that the Lutz family, while genuinely terrified, may have misinterpreted or exaggerated events due to the psychological stress of living in a house with such a dark history. The fear and anxiety could have amplified their experiences, making ordinary events seem extraordinary. Despite the skepticism, the Lutz family has always maintained the truth of their experiences. They have consistently stood by their story, insisting that what they encountered was real and beyond explanation. They have passed lie detector tests and have never wavered from their story. These tests, while not foolproof, have added a layer of credibility to their claims. Whether one believes their account or not, there's no denying the chilling effect their tale has had on the public imagination. The story has become a cultural phenomenon, influencing how we think about haunted houses and the supernatural. The Amityville Horror tapped into our primal fears of the unknown, the darkness that lurks at the edge of our reality. It reminds us that sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that might just be true. Section 8. Amityville, a legacy carved in fear. The Amityville horror story has become a cultural phenomenon, spawning numerous books, documentaries, and feature films. The iconic image of the house with its distinctive gambrel roof and ominous quarter-moon windows has become synonymous with haunting. The story has become a modern-day ghost story, passed down through generations. The house itself has changed hands several times since the Lutz family's dramatic departure. Some subsequent residents have reported strange occurrences while others have lived in the house without incident. Regardless, the shadow of the Amityville horror continues to loom large. It's a stark reminder that some houses hold secrets, dark histories that can never be truly erased. Section 9. An enduring enigma. The enduring fascination with the Amityville horror speaks to our primal fear of the unknown. It's a tale that has captivated the imagination of many, drawing us into its web of mystery and fear. It's a story that forces us to confront the possibility that there are forces beyond our understanding, lurking just beyond the veil of our reality. These forces, whether supernatural or psychological, challenge our perception of what is real and what is imagined. Whether the events that unfolded at 112 Ocean Avenue were real or imagined, the house remains a powerful symbol of our collective anxieties about the darkness that may lie within the walls of our own homes. It stands as a testament to the power of storytelling and the human tendency to seek out and be drawn to the macabre. The Amityville horror continues to intrigue and terrify us because it reflects our deepest fears. The fear of losing control, the fear of the unknown, and the fear of the unseen forces that might be lurking in the shadows. The fear of the unseen, the things that go bump in the night and the inexplicable events that defy logical explanation, and the fear that our own homes, meant to be sanctuaries, could become prisons of our nightmares. The very place where we seek comfort and safety could turn into a place of terror and dread. It's a story that will likely continue to haunt us for generations to come, a chilling reminder that some mysteries are never truly solved. The legend of the Amityville Horror endures not just as a ghost story, but as a reflection of our deepest insecurities and fears. A chilling reminder that some mysteries are never truly solved. As long as there are dark corners in our minds and shadows in our homes, the story of the Amityville Horror will continue to send shivers down our spines.